and so one of the things that you may not know about me is that I love the month of December because of the holidays. I love um, the whole holiday spirit and the Christmas and whatever it is that people celebrate. I don't care. I just love that. It's very festive. So, Carrie, what do you like about the month of December? Can't hear you, Carrie.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I like colder weather,
Okay.
unusual, but yeah, in the holidays, I love the lights and the decorations.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure, but I mean, this year, I don't think it's going to be anything for me as far as going anywhere, doing anything.
Yeah. That's gonna be for a lot of people. A lot of people, unfortunately, right?
Hmm.
With the whole pandemic, everything has changed. But yeah, I certainly it's for me still one of my favorite months of the year. I just love to see people happy, and somehow the month of December, people are happier. People are usually happier than other months. Maybe because they're getting gifts, maybe because they're giving gifts, maybe just because of the holiday, the lights, the family gatherings. Was definitely one of my favorite months. So today, I'm not sure who else is on the call because it says connecting to audio. So today we're going to do the fourth series of marketing during the COVID pandemic. So this is a fourth one. I believe there's going to be a new series of webinars in January. I have to get some confirmation from Daphne and the center. But today, hopefully, this will be sort of like a summary of all the things that we have discussed during the last few weeks on the previous three. And hopefully, you'll get a little bit more today. I certainly appreciate your willingness to be here early in the morning. I know I struggle getting up on Saturday. I'm like, but I definitely enjoy doing this and I enjoy you, and definitely something that I'm passionate about. So let's get straight to it. And today I may have a little bit of a delay because my mouse is not working. So I have to do, like the finger thingy. So anyway, let me see if it works for me. So let's see. So the battle, hold on. The online brand and the battle for consumers. So we're gonna do a recap on what is branding, what is social media, what are some of the benefits of social media, creating that ideal customer profile, and then discussing what is content, right? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what are some of the challenges that companies and small businesses have for consumers, right? In that battle for consumers. We're also going to talk about what are some of the factors and opportunities, right? And what this means during COVID-19. So let's jump into this. So again, we're going to do a recap of what we've learned during the last few weeks. What is branding? So we've discussed that branding is everything, right? That promotes your business from the moment that you speak. I'm starting a business, right? You have begun to market your business, and therefore you have begun to brand that concept that you have, that opportunity that you see in the marketplace for yourself. We also know that branding must be consistent. It is not something that you do once. It is not something that you change. It is something that you perpetually do so that everything is cohesive, right? From the look of your brand, of your logo, the colors that you use, the customer service that you provide, the packaging, all of those things must be consistent. Um, Branding reinforces the message, right? What we are trying to tell people out there about, why should they buy from us, right? Because that's the whole idea of marketing, to convince people to buy from us because we have something different or we offer a different opportunity. In just a second, I forgot to turn off the volume on my cell phone. I do apologize for that. There we go. And branding sets the tone for the company's identity and the company's image. Okay. Branding is a promise. So it's almost like when you say you're going to do something and you do it, that's part of your branding, right? Because it creates that identity and image, right? And we've already talked that identity that you create for your business is how you want to be seen, and the image is how people actually see you. But how they actually see you is not just the black and white, right? Not just the pretty colors or the pretty logo that you put together. That's identity. How they see you is how you provide the service, right, to people, the manner, the process, right, in which you do that. How they view you is in the consistency, right, whether your word means something, right, when you said it's going to happen, that promise again. So all of those things are branding. What is social media? So just kind of like another brief summary. So we know social media is part of that digital media category that includes apps or websites that empowers users to create and to share specific content, right? With the goal of allowing that type of participation or social networking. So that's what social media is. The most popular digital activity in the world right now is social media. It is what most people are doing. Obviously, the growth of social media is driven by the increasing usage of mobile devices. Okay. And we've learned from Statista.com that internet users, spend on average 144 minutes per day. That's more than 2 hours per day on social media. You may not do it, I may not do it, right? But the average individual out there is spending a lot of time on social media, which means that you have plenty of time to go after those dollars, right? To go after those consumers. We talked about some of the benefits of using social media, right, to grow your business. So one of them is it helps you tell the story of your brand, and it also creates brand recognition for those people that didn't know about your business. Now you are creating that awareness that you exist, right, that you have something to offer. Another benefit is that it keeps those customers that you have, right, in the know. And it also increases brand awareness. So the more they come to you and the more they patronize your business, the higher that awareness will be, which then in turn spills over to other opportunities. Social media allows you to build a community and to bring organic traffic into your website, because we use social media as a way to attract people to our website so that they can go ahead and buy your services or your product. Social media, another benefit is that it builds your image while you can provide customer service, right? So and that's very prominent. Many companies, if not most companies, use social media to increase, right, and to provide customer service. It helps you gather insight, right? It serves as a tool to do research with your customer, right? To learn more about their needs, their wants, right? It helps you enable conversations around your brand, right? And if you use it well, people will come to you and see you as the expert in that subject, right? Social media promotes your products, services like sales, events, maybe some sort of discount that you're having, right? So you can do all of those things through social media, which is another great benefit. Another one is to create repeat businesses, right? Repeat business. So I come to your website, I come to your social media page, I engage with you, we have this conversation, I buy something from you, I'm happy, I come back, I give you some feedback, you respond, we have this engagement, right? And it creates that sort of like repeat business. And then finally, last but not least, obviously, there are many more benefits, but social media is almost like the biggest disruptor, right, in marketing because social media generates leads from customers, right, who promote your brand. So it's the way that people come in and then they start spreading the word, right, about what you do, what you offer to other people. So the peer-to-peer uh, um, in the marketing mix when we learned the first week, right? So we have that peer-to-peer interaction. So that is another benefit of social media. But keep in mind, it can also work against you, right? So as we've learned, people come to your social media and they can, praise you or blast you. So you have to be able to um, address concerns again, so that you are seen as a good business, so that you're seen as a good customer service company, so that you can become the expert, etc. But it is a great tool to promote not just you, but those people that come to your business will promote your business, your social media. Those people that come to your social media will promote your business. I think that the last webinar that we had a couple of weeks ago before Thanksgiving, we talked about creating a customer profile. And that's something that is really important because you really want to define, right? Create that prototype of customer who you want to attract, right? So we have to define the person that we are trying to reach, right? And we do that through, like gender, age, income, race, ethnicity, etc., right? We have to be able to understand our customers or potential customers' likes and dislikes, right? What is it that they like? What is it that they want? What is it that they desire? We have to create that appeal, right, to their buying needs and really understand whether they are a conservative buyer, an impulsive shopper, whether they like to buy frequently, whether they are the type of customer that like to test the product first before they engage into any type of business, or whether this is a type of customer that likes the type of experience, right? So a lot of people are seeking that, they want that experience, that unique treatment, right? And the other thing is to define, to create, right? To create promotions that cater to your potential customers' motivations. Now, in here, you want to identify or at least be able to say, my potential customer or the profile of my customer is one that cares, let's say, for animal causes, right? And so you design your campaign around that theme, okay? So creating promotions have to do with understanding the ethics, the values of your customers, right? The passion, what is it that drives them? Whether it's the environment, whether it's women's causes, whether it's family, whether it's animals, whether it's equality, whether it's that they care about buying local. All of those things have to do with the values, right? That or the ethics that the customer has. And so when you create your customer prototype, your customer profile, you have to be able to identify all of these things because these are the things that you're going to create your marketing campaign around all these things. So I'll give you an example. So my company, this is an example. So my company caters to women between 40 to 60 years old who are single, who enjoy traveling. See, so we define, and now what is it that they like traveling, right? Who enjoy that experience of going into places, and who are very passionate about women's causes. So That right there gives you a profile, a slight profile of that woman, right? She's 40 to 60. She's single. She likes to travel. She likes the experience type of shopper, and she's all about women's causes, right? Or feminism, or whatever it is. So you have to create that prototype for your business. Identify what is the ideal customer that you want to attract. Once you can define that, right, and once you understand that, you're going to create promotions that appeal to that particular consumer. And it's better to do this at the very beginning, right? Rather than waste years into trying to figure out, oh my God, like I've been doing this and nothing works. Well, maybe it doesn't work because you haven't defined who you're after. And that's really key. That's really, really key. And I said this, I think, before. Companies who are really good at this are fashion companies. Fashion companies, because they have a very specific market, they create that customer profile from the very beginning. Why? Because that's who they are after, right? They don't want to waste money. They don't want to waste time. They want to sell their tops, their bottoms, their blouses, their dresses, whatever it is that they design, right? And so they, from the very beginning, they create this profile, this image of who that customer is. And all of their campaigns, all of the marketing campaigns are geared towards that. Is that particular profile, towards that particular psychic, towards that particular value that their customer has. And so again, save yourself years of trial and error and do this at the very, very beginning. Now is the time to start creating that profile. We talked about using content to grow your business, right? And we also said that content is everywhere. In fact, everything around us can be used as content. The experiences that we have with customers, the experiences that customers have with us is part of that content. The content that you use in your social media, right, as you are engaging your customers should be easy to understand, and you should definitely use visuals, right? You want to check out what the competition is doing in terms of content. What is it that they're writing? What is it that they're showing customers, right, or the consumers at large? Know that you can say more with less when you use visual content. So you don't have to spend hours writing, right? And for many people, writing is a challenge. They know what they want, they have it in their heads, right? But they have trouble articulating what they want or what they want to convey, right? So use images, okay? Images and visual content, it's more memorable, it retains more value over time, and it yields twice as much results than just plain text, okay? This is also from Statista.com. You can use multiple mediums to show content, including infographics, videos, surveys, photos, reference guides, podcasts, interviews, research, etc. Another way to grow your business through content is to be able to tell your story and to humanize your brand. Okay, and I believe we're going to have a webinar in January about how to do just that. How do we create a brand that is human, right? How do we humanize our brand? So be on the lookout for that. So tell the story, right, through your content. And remember, I've said this over and over, the story of us is the story of others. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. The relationships that we have are not isolated. The experiences that we have are not isolated. Many more people are having the same experiences or very similar experiences, I should say, and there's a lot of relationship, right? There's a lot of relatable things. So make sure that you look for that, that particular element that pushes you, that moves you forward, that tells who you are as a business, right? As an entrepreneur. And that way you can use it as a way to connect to others, right? Again, the story of self is the story of other. You just have to find that common ground. And another way of using content to grow your business is to focus on social media, on one social media at a time. Okay, on like, and again, I don't advise against this unless you are very good at social media. Um, a lot of people, they tend to open, you know, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you know, like all of these different social media profiles, and they'll write something and then you never hear from them again. Why? Because they don't have the time. They're, you know, they're trying to do all of these things. So instead of opening, you know, all of these social media handles and accounts, just focus on one. Focus on one. Which one will be determined by where your audience is. Remember that. Okay, the one that you decide to go is the one where you have identified that's where most of my customers are. If you do business to business, right? If your product or you have a service that is to sell to other businesses, you don't want to be in Facebook because that's not the place for business to business. You want to be in LinkedIn, right? Or any other type of social media where businesses gather, right? And so it's important to choose the right social media platform that where you're going to engage with those potential customers. Once you have identified that platform, then you can focus all your energy, right, around promoting and selling on that platform, creating content, engaging with your potential customers there. Once you become really good at doing that, then expand, find out where else is your customer or other potential customers, and then begin to expand. And then there's different types of platforms that allow you to post on multiple platforms. So like Hootsuite, for example, is one of them where you write the content on Hootsuite and then you program it, you schedule it so that it shoots the campaign on all your social media at the same time, right? Or you can schedule it by topic, by time, by date, etc. But you only do it once in one platform, and then that platform basically spreads the word through the other platforms that you have connected. Okay, so again, focus on one social media before you go out and explore. So, any questions so far? I'm going to take a quick pause so that I can have some coffee and maybe take some questions or any comments.
I just have a quick question on when I'm looking at Instagram on my phone, there's plenty of ads, and I think they're very effective because you're scrolling through and oh, wow, that looks really interesting. And I've clicked through on plenty of things. I don't think I've ever bought anything, but I always look at it, at least the spot, maybe get to the website. But then on my, when I'm looking at it on my laptop, I don't see any of those ads. Do you know why that is, or? Why you get advertising on one, technology, but not another. It's interesting to me.
Well, it's probably because that's the medium that they've chosen, the company have chosen to promote. So remember that more people are on mobile devices than on their laptops. Like you could literally be walking down the street with your device and not with your laptop. And so the battle for consumers in this digital age has pushed companies to go on the smaller devices. So yes, that is actually something that I've also seen and I've experienced. And the funny thing is that if you're let's say if you click on that advertising, when you go to your computer, to your desktop, you will see something related to that advertising, but only after you have clicked on it. So the I guess the promotion will follow you, but only if you click on it. You understand? So it has that smart component that basically says, oh, Carrie was looking at light bulbs. So when you go back to your regular computer and you sit down, you're going to see ads and you're going to see different types of.
Well, not only that, followed me onto my TV, a pair of shoes that I was looking at.
Right, right. It definitely will follow you. But that's a very good point, Carrie. Companies basically, a lot of companies do focus on one social media. Excuse me. They focus on one social media because that's the most popular, right? Not one social media, one platform, one type of uh, device. Um, okay. Any other questions or comment before we continue?
Well, my customer is like 55 plus. I'm also going to address millennials. So I would, probably start with them on Instagram, but then maybe, I guess, I don't, the 55 plus are over on Facebook, maybe more so. I don't know. I have to go back and look at, I know you said there's a way to tell what demographic is looking more at, what particular type of social media, right?
Right. One of the links that I share with you on the previous presentation, if you receive the presentation through a PDF, you should have all the links activated. And there is one of those links that actually, when you go there, it shows you where people go in, what it is, etc.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So let's move on. My little thing is sorry about this. My mouse is not working today. I have to follow this thing. Okay. So the battle for consumers, we are seeing this left and right. Amazon has taken over the world, right? Like almost literally, Amazon has taken over the world, and it has become very challenging for many other companies to survive, right? Why? Because Amazon, the ease, right? The ease of going to Amazon, finding something, the customer reviews from using the platform, the various companies that are selling there. So it's not just one company. There's it's like a one-stop shop for all things. So Amazon has posed a big challenge, and then there are a few other companies. But I'm going to tell you something that Nielsen, the industry's leader in consumer information data, they wrote an article in 2019 called "The Battle of the Brands." And they stated that consumer disloyalty is sweeping the globe. According to Nielsen, consumers are flirting with and cheating on their favorite brands. But this is leaving established brands, and this is leaving established brands worried. So that's a big challenge, right? So you have, for many years, it took you maybe 5 years, 10 years to build an audience, right? To build a following. And all of a sudden, boom, here's Amazon, boom, here's Carry Shop, boom, here's all of these other options, right? And now you realize that now you have to do more to be able to keep people, buying from you. And part of that has to do with how accessible, social media is, how accessible and easy it is to shop online. It has given the competition, well, it has triple, quadruple the competitors' landscape online. The study actually cited that only 8% of global consumers say that they are committed to the brands that they purchase. So this is again a challenge, but there's also a slight opportunity here, which means that 92% of global consumers are not committed. So that's, yes, it's a big challenge because we have to do more to keep our customers engaged, to keep our customers from going elsewhere to buy. we have to do more. Um, excuse me. But the slight opportunity is that it's not just you, it's everywhere, right? And then there's that many more people out there looking for something different, right? Online shopping provides innumerable options for consumers. That's just a fact, right? So that's again part of that challenge. The customer has many options. The other thing that you should understand as a new business or as a business owner is that people don't want to waste any time. Think of yourself as a consumer, right? Because you are. You are a consumer of many, many things. And when you go online, do you go and look at options? Yeah, sure you do, because it's readily there at your fingertips, right? It makes sense for you to not buy from the first company that you see online. So, and you don't want to waste time. You want to go in, do your searches, find the company that sells, look at the prices, look at the quality, look at, all these other factors that you use to judge, that purchasing process. And then, boom, you do it and you leave, right? So you don't want to waste time. The study in Nielsen said that consumers are infatuated with newness, with the new and different. So again, it is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. People are looking for something new. So if you are doing the same old thing, well, that's a challenge, right? Because people may be curious as to what others are selling if you're not providing something new or interesting or different, right? Consumers are looking for the best deal in terms of savings, memorable experiences in terms of engagements. They're looking for value in terms of that connection. What is it that motivates me as a consumer? Is there a relationship or a connection between what you do, right? I care about, let's say dogs and cats, animal causes. And I go to your website and you show in your website or your blog or social media that you have some sort of like affinity or to that particular cause of pets, right? So that's gonna immediately attract me. I'm gonna be, oh, look what Carrie's doing, look what Faye is doing. And so that's another thing. So that's what customers are looking for. The savings, the engagement, the connection, the uniqueness. And another thing is they're looking for homegrown. In other words, buying local, because they know that the battle for consumers at the global excuse me, at the global level, it's fierce. And there are too many companies, and they know that the environment, the carbon footprint. So they want something local. There's a lot of consumers out there that they want to support small businesses, locally owned mom and pops. Again, you have to find out, you have to look for that customer profile, right? And see if any of these things that I just mentioned here, the savings, engagement, connections, uniqueness, and locally made, are these things applicable to them? Because that's what research is saying that consumers are looking for in 2020, okay? The, the 2019 Nielsen study, again, said that consumers are addicted to newism, right? Newness, things that are new. And they're cheating. 42% of consumers love trying new things. They actively search for the latest brands and products. And 49% of consumers, more conventional, prefer to stick with the known, but they can be moved to experiment, okay? So you may be one of those 1 in 2 that like to shop from Carrie's, business, but you wouldn't be opposed to shopping somewhere else. See? And that's why, because if somewhere else is offering something new, different, and appeals to my value, to my cause, to what I love, to what I follow, to what I need, to what I want, I may move over there to buy. Okay, so that's what the study is saying. There are some factors. Hold on just a second. There are some factors. So price still plays a significant role in consumer purchases. So what this is saying is 32% of all consumers that were studied by the Nielsen study, they value or they place a significant role in the price. But the value for their purchase is higher. So while 32% of consumers think price is the determinant factor, other 39% felt that if I get more bang for my buck, right, I may actually just buy it, even if the price is higher. That's what this means, okay? So it's about creating that value. Convenience and ease of purchase, which is 31% of consumers, convenience and ease of purchase falls behind quality and function at 34% when it comes to consumers' purchasing decisions. Again, price, convenience, and ease of purchase are falling behind for what people are looking for. They're looking for value. How can I get more bank out of my bucks? Is the quality better? Can I use it for different purposes, right? The functionality of it. The other factor is peer-to-peer reviews and independent opinions. Those have more influence in consumer conversion from one brand over another brand. And what that means is that people are listening. People are actually listening, and they are actually, wiser. They're not just taking your word for it. Excuse me. They're not just taking your word for it. They're listening. They're exploring. They're doing their research. They're going out there, and they're listening to what influencers, right? Whether they are influencers by peers or influencers by independent sources. They're listening to what these influencers are saying, and that type of influence moves people from one company to another. So that's a huge factor. Another factor, and I highlight this in green because I'm going to touch on it again, is putting the consumer first, right? So this may seem like, well, duh, that's nothing new, right? Well, you would think it's nothing new, but for some companies, they still haven't been able to figure this out. The customer is the boss. Believe it or not, the customer is the boss. The customer can fire the CEO and the owners and the shareholders and the board of directors, right? When they choose to spend their dollars somewhere else. And so when you as a business owner, when you really realize that this is probably the most important factor over price, over value, over convenience, ease of purchase, quality, function, above all of this is consumers being first, right? They are the boss. So when you understand that, everything else is going to fall into place. Why? Because consumers, they're smart. They're not dumb. They can do their homework. They're good judges when it comes to shopping. Not saying that they make the best decision, but they know what they want, and they're easily they can be easily distracted or convinced based on what? Based on what they like, they dislike, what calls their attention, what motivates them, what they feel passionate about, etc. So again, the customer is at the center of it all. The marketing classes or the marketing webinar that we talked at the very beginning, this is something that you see that I emphasize a lot, right? Know your customer. You'll see this, you'll hear this, you're gonna get tired of hearing it and seeing it everywhere, right? Know your customer. The customer is the boss. The customer can choose to spend their dollars somewhere else, and guess what? You have none. And so another huge factor, nothing new, right? Basic information is just reiterating what really is happening, right? Especially during COVID time, because we have moved, right? Our consciousness, our zeitgeist has moved, has shifted. And so we have to kind of go back to basics, right? We have to go back to basics in this little screen, right? This little screen right here, and be able to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. So let's look at some opportunities. So obviously, as we talked about the challenges, we also talked about certain opportunities. But here's a few that I highlighted. Companies must identify consumer tendencies to better understand consumers' priorities. Again, know your consumer, right? Know your customer. Knowing your customer, you'll find out when you do that research, when you really get down to the nitty gritty, you'll learn what those priorities, what your customers' priorities are, right? And you'll be able to, based on those priorities, you'll be able to do marketing, right? You'll be able to target them based on their tendencies. Another opportunity is the opportunity to pivot, right? And to adjust your marketing campaign as needed to boost and to recapture, thereby creating retention. So in the old days, they used to say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, right? Why fix it? Why change it, right? In COVID time, everything is broken, basically. So you just have to look at it like that, okay? And you have the opportunity as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, right? As a leader or as a newcomer, you have the opportunity to see what's in the market, to understand the customer, to look at those tendencies, and if it's not working, change it right away. Make those decisions. Don't wait 3 months, 6 months, right? You have the information right there at your fingertips. So use that information, use that engagement to make the changes so that you can capture, because people don't have any time to waste. And if you take too long to make changes in terms of the approach, the process, the selling, etc. If you take too long, people are going to go somewhere else because people don't have time to waste. Foster another opportunity is if to allow you to foster and encourage personal dialogue with consumers using social media. Again, during COVID time, this is essential, right? So in this battle for consumers, one of the things that I've seen, actually, I've seen this many times. I've seen this, I started seeing this not just now during COVID. The more we get engaged with social media, the more we get better at it. You're going to see more and more companies, doing that transaction, that engagement. They're moving from the boardroom, into the customer's living room, so to speak. And that's a huge opportunity, again, because you learn, because you can create that relationship, but also because you're going to create retention. When people like what you do and they have that affinity, that connection with you, they're most likely to stay with you. Even if they see something out there, if they're truly loyal to you, they will stay. So that's a huge opportunity for you to be able to encourage that, dialogue, and to foster, right, to promote it with other people. Another opportunity is to allow consumers to offer feedback, And again, another thing that we've been seeing with social media, not just with the peer-to-peer, right? Not just that we are on this social media together and we give opinions, but highlighting the feedback that consumers, and that's good and bad feedback, because you can't take away the bad feedback. You just have to address it, right? You can't take a bad experience away, but you can change you can change that bad experience, right? And turn it around, use that as an opportunity to provide excellent customer service, to provide follow-up. Customers are drawn to a brand's strength and confidence. That's another opportunity. If you are seen or perceived, right, as one of these fly-by-night businesses, people are not going to trust you, right? They're not going to trust you, especially if you're looking for retention, especially if you're looking for loyalty, especially if you're looking for customers to buy from you, if you're looking for people to pay you that $25 every month, right, for that subscription. If you're seen as one of these wishy-washy type of businesses, with no strength, no confidence, people are not going to trust you. So make sure that you show that you are strong, right? And make sure that your marketing and everything that you do shows confidence, because people will notice that. And you know that. You've seen so many companies, right? You probably can, right off the top of your head, pinpoint 5, right? This company, maybe they've been around for a little bit, but I don't want to buy from them, right? Well, I've had such a bad experience. So again, customers are drawn to that strength that a brand provides, right? Nearly half of all customers prefer to do business with familiar brands, but they can still be persuaded, right? So even if, and this almost sounds like a contradiction, right? I've been saying, well, only 8%, but 92%, and then half, but the other half. But that, again, that's the challenge and the opportunity. In this time and age that we live, and that's why one of those opportunities is to be able to pivot, right? And to always keep the customer at the center. So Dignify, which is a really good, it's a nice website. You should go Dignify. They have this blog. They're a Belgium-based marketing company. This is one of the quotes that I like from what I've seen in their website. The market is evolving rapidly, and so should you, okay? According to Dignify, 76% of consumers expect brands to understand their needs and expectations. Imagine that. 3/4 of consumers, they already expect that you, as a small business, that you understand what they want, that you understand what they expect, right? So that's a huge number. 69% of consumers expect Amazon-like buying experiences. And what is Amazon-like? Ease of use, seamless transaction, variety, right? Different ways of paying, etc. So if you've ever shopped at Amazon, you know what I'm talking about, right? So there's variety, there's many different reviews. You can see there's all of these other offers. They have points. If you're a member, you get free shipping, like this, and that's what people want. The average, 82% of business buyers, right? So we're talking about, the majority of them want the same experience as when they're buying for themselves. So it's getting very competitive, right? It's getting very competitive out there. So the average consumer tells 15 people when they have had a poor customer service experience. Imagine 15 people, after they've dealt with you, 15 more people know how bad you are, right? And bad not in a good way. Bad like, don't trust this company, right? 1/3 of consumers say they will consider switching companies after just one bad experience. So that's 1/3 of the consumers. So you have 100 people that are buying from you. They don't have a good experience. Boom. One doesn't have a good experience, you start losing people. And you can see this. You see this all the time. I remember years ago, I think this is in 2014, maybe 2014. Netflix had this pricing structure. They still do. They have a pricing structure where you get some basic services for like, well, it used to be $7.99. I don't know what the price is now, but it used to be $7.99 at the time. And then they had another one for like $15, $14.95, so twice as much. So basically, you get twice as much, TV shows and programming and all of that, right? So I remember it might have been in 2014 that Netflix they changed their pricing, the lower tier pricing structure. The $7.99 went up to like $8.99 or $9.99, something like that. It was not a huge jump, but it still was a jump, right? And people were not getting any more. So this caused Netflix to lose in 1 month over $20 billion in customers, okay, in terms of monthly subscriptions, because Netflix is a subscription based service. And it was during this time, it was either October or November, and it cost Netflix over $20 billion in losses for that period when they changed their pricing. Now, that tells you something. And by the way, this was all over the media, all over the news. You go on Facebook, cancel, and cancel Netflix. And just recently, in fact, there was another issue with Netflix where they're showing this movie of young girls. I haven't seen the movie. I just read of I guess the controversy of the movie, and you see it everywhere. Cancel Netflix, right? And in fact, they've lost millions of dollars as a result of customers not having a good experience. So I remember back in 2014 when this happened, that they changed their subscription. It wasn't that much. It was like $1 or something, but it wasn't. They weren't giving anything for it. So it's just like, oh, we're increasing our prices. Boom, next month everybody's prices went up, and people just complain like, what? How dare you? How dare you raise your prices? Why didn't you tell us? What are we getting? For this extra money that you're charging us? And then just boom, boom, boom. It created a ripple effect on social media. And the reports, financial reports show that during that period, they lost over $20 billion. That's huge. That's huge, huge, huge. So again, when you don't provide customer service, and by the way, it's not like they haven't raised their prices, because they have since. I think they've raised their prices twice, and they've changed their payment plan, like not the payment plan, but the plan itself. They've changed it a couple of times since. But what they've learned is that they are now having a connection, right? They're having a conversation with consumers, right? With their customers, and they're letting people know ahead of time, hey, we're making these changes. If you want to keep this package, do this, right? If you want to get into all of these other options, then this is the option, the package that you should be buying. So now the customer has options, right? They can say, okay, I've been warned, right? It's not like, boom, all of a sudden you're taken by surprise. And these are the things that Netflix learned over the years, especially after losing over $20 billion. Like, wait a minute, we cannot do this. We have to engage the consumer, the customer. We really have to talk about, these changes. And again, because people will talk, people will take action immediately. And it's not that there's any other choices. Netflix is not the only, movie stream provider. They are the more prominent, but they're not the only one. So in this digital age, they're no longer the only ones. Okay, so Netflix obviously took over Blockbuster. Remember them? They refused to adapt to consumer changes to technology, and boom, they died, right? And Netflix sort of became the more prominent. Actually, there was another company that I think is still around, the Redbox. So, but Redbox didn't have, the support of, because Redbox is more of a blockbuster, a smaller blockbuster that goes on different shops, right? So people don't have to you can do, as long as the shop is open, you can go in there and get whatever movie, etc. But they were not digital. They were not like Netflix. So Redbox came in to take a space that Blockbuster wasn't filling, right? Because Blockbuster had this huge mega locations, right, filled with videos and cassette, right? And there was a huge real estate and all of that. And Redbox came in and said, well, what if we can provide, right, consumers the option of renting videos, right, at the supermarket. When they go shopping, they'll see the red box. Oh, let me get a movie, right? Instead of having to drive now all the way to that big old retailer down the street. So they're shopping, they can get their movie there. They're coming back, so they'll bring the movie back, right? It's at the local store, it's at the supermarket, at the pharmacy, everywhere, at the gas stations. So they're not limited, right? And the real estate, the piece of real estate that they hold is much, 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 much smaller in comparison to anything that Blockbuster was doing. And so they sort of like took that space for people that still want that experience of renting something, right? But Netflix really was the winner. Netflix was really the winner when it comes to movies, especially in the digital age. Again, 57% of consumers have stopped buying from a company because a competitor provided a better experience. So case in point with Netflix, right? With Netflix, instead of 57%, it was almost like 100%, right? Everybody moved into digital, little by little. They just took over the space, the market space. There is a blog that Dignify has. It's called 5 Reasons Why Consumers First Brands Are Winning the Battle for Consumer Attention. And when you get this presentation, you'll have that link that you can click in there right here. And you can read more about all of these statistics and more. So that Dignify has a huge library of resources and a lot of information, really, really good information that you can just spend an afternoon reading and educating yourself and really learning from best practices because all of this is there because it's what works, right? Remember, we talked about that last week. So in the COVID-19 time, right, during this pandemic, there is a huge, that's all we've said from the very beginning. There's a huge fight for consumers, right? Panos Linardos is the chairman of the Retail Leaders Circle, and he wrote the following statement for entrepreneur.com. As consumers have entered a survival mode, it is all about staying safe and connected, and most profoundly, being digitally connected at all times. And I want you to think about this statement. So it is not enough that you have a social media presence. It is not enough that you have a website, okay? That's not enough. You have to be connected. You have to be connected all the time when it comes to your business. Now, that doesn't mean, and I just want to make sure that people understand, that doesn't mean that you have to be in front of your computer or you have to be selling 24/7. there are ways, there are programs, software, applications that you can use, right, and program so that the customer, when they go to your website, to your business, to your social media, wherever they find you, that there's a way of engaging with you, of connecting with you. And that could be, through your phone, through text, through a customized email, through your social media. There's many ways. And there's a lot of companies are using this, you go there and they have they show you the ability to like text, right, with the owner or with the company management. And you see the little, pop up that says, hi there, you're looking for something. Is there something we can help you, right? So it's at the bottom, and then you type your question. That question goes to someone. The program sends it to someone who actually monitors, right, all of these questions. And it could be at any time, and someone can respond to it. So that's another way. And that's one of the things that Leonardo's is saying, that we have to be connected in terms of being in business. Panos recommends to stay connected with consumers by providing the ease of purchase, by providing a variety of products or services, and by providing transparency so that you can get that customer engagement, okay? Providing ease of purchase is a way that where, when people go to your website to buy, that they're not clicking here before they buy. They see something, boom, purchase, add to cart or shop, right? Or checkout. Not that they have to, find a way, around your website because it's so complicated. So again, it has to be easily accessible to the consumer. And then of course, provide a variety. I mean, if people are seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, most likely they're gonna start looking somewhere else. So how should you provide that variety? Well, you have to learn from your customer. You have to ask them, what is it that they want, right? Ask the question. Then this is not nothing new. You can, post a question on a blog or social media. What is it that you would like to see next, right? One of the things that we do in the field of nonprofits, when we do workshops and we do events, we always ask people, tell us during the surveys, tell us, what did we do good? What did we not do good? How can we improve? What are the topics you want to hear, etc. You should do the same. You should practice the same with your customers, right? Because customers get bored and they have so many options. So if you want to keep them engaged, you want their dollars, you have to, provide a variety, ease of purchase, variety, and transparency. Okay, transparency is really, really important. Don't try to be someone who you're not. Right? You can't be Amazon, that's for sure. But be you, right? Amazon-like. So that's, that look at the traits, the good traits of what other companies, the competition is doing, and trying to emulate that so that they can see. But being you and being authentic is I think the easiest way to show transparency. The other thing is, if it costs $25, right? If it costs $25, don't tell me when I'm checking out that there's, $3.95 for this, $4.95 for that I have to buy another piece, to work with this, like package it, create transparency. One of the things that Apple just got into recently, very recently, they just got into trouble with consumers, is that they deployed their latest phone without the charge. So you have to now go and buy a charge for that phone. May seem a little bit ridiculous, right? Yeah, it does. And the consumer basically said that. Okay, so I just got an Apple phone and the latest model, spent $1,000. Okay, where's my plug, right? But they said, well, you have to buy you have to buy this separately. Well, duh. That's not being very transparent. So again, be honest, be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Another good advice from Panos Leonardos Deliver superior frictionless shopping experience. Frictionless. Again, make your website, and this is in terms of site functionality. Make your website dumb free. That's the best way that I can say it. Your website, an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old should be able to use, read, you know, move through it, buy with ease, with the same ease. Anyone who's from 8 years old all the way to 80 years old. So that's what this means. At least one of the things, provide site functionality. Also, make sure that your pages have description, right? So when you have your website, don't just put, like all these images, because people also want to read a little bit, right? So an image is great, right? We get double the conversion from just regular text, but you have to have some text, right? So if I buy this, I want to be able to see what this is about, and I want to read it. You know why? Because I want to compare this from the other one, right? That I'm looking online. So I may have two screens, right? I want to see what this is about, and I want to see what this is about. So have descriptions, right? On your websites, on your products, be descriptive. And of course, offer superior customer service. Superior customer service, again, the word the word of the day is customer service, right? Customers is at the center. So superior customer service, you can define that in any way you want, but think of you at this moment. If you go to a store, right? Whether it's online or in person, if you go to a store, what is it that you expect as a customer? What do you expect? Well, you expect a clean place, right? You don't want to go into a place that is smells. You expect it to be neat, right? Not all messy, right? You don't want to have to jump over hoops, because there's merchandise all over the place. You want to be able to find what you're looking for with ease, right? You want to be able to have to talk. You want to have the opportunity to talk to someone if you have questions. Excuse me, can you tell me a little bit more about this, and not have to wander around the store aimlessly because there's no one there to help? Again, think of you as the consumer and what is it that you want and you're looking for when you go to a store, whether it's online or whether it's in person. And then make a list of all of those things and then ask yourself, am I providing these things to my customers? Am I providing excellent customer service? How is it that people can get in touch with me? Do I have a website? Do I have a phone number on my website? Do I have an email on my website? Like all of, and by the way, this is becoming more popular than I would like not to be. People are not putting on their websites like emails or phone numbers, right? Somehow, I don't know who got the idea that if you only put a box there for people to type in their questions, I'm Santos, this is my email, and I'm looking for this, I have a question. Someone out there thought that that was enough, and it's not. The first thing I do, one of the first things I do when I go online to shop is I go to their about page and their contact page. And if I don't see a phone number listed there, I immediately get out. I don't even waste my time. I don't care what they offer. If there's no way for me to get in touch with someone, if I have a question, then you're not getting my business. You're not getting my dollars. That's just as simple as that. I want to have a conversation at some point with someone. If I decide to have it, I want to know that I can call on someone. That's extremely important, okay? You could have an automated system. There's nothing wrong with that, even though people don't like the idea of press 1 for this, press 2 for that. But if you have it, it's better than having something than not having anything at all. Okay, and so at least you have something, and at this day and age, it's so easy and so affordable to have a phone number. right? It's easy, it's affordable. It's not like, 20 years ago where you have to apply for a phone number, like you have to create, you have like all of these other things. We've passed beyond all of that. It's really, really easy to get a phone number, people. Even Google can get you a phone number. You go to Google and apply for a phone number with Google based on your area code, and you can use that, and it goes to your personal cell phone, and it'll tell you when it's coming from that number. So somebody that calls that number it gets redirected to your phone, and in there you can see. Not only that, it goes to your email. So all of your messages will go into a text form, and you can also listen to it or read it. And so nowadays, there's no excuse why you shouldn't have a phone number. That's really, really important. And that's part of superior customer service. Again, if I go to your website, and in your website, on your contact page, there's no phone number, most likely I'm just going to get out. If you expect me as a consumer to type my questions, right, and write and then send and then wait for you whenever you're ready, 2 days from now, to respond to my inquiry, you've lost your mind, first of all. As a business owner, you've lost your mind. And second of all, you've lost my money. And so that's another way in which you have to kind of look at and revisit these issues, because once again, people think that, I don't have to do that, or it's okay if I don't, right? And it's not true. You have to do all of these things, because especially with COVID, right? People are not traveling as often, and I hope everybody here, I hope you are staying safe. Whatever your choice is for wearing a mask or not wearing a mask in public, please wear a mask. Stay home, don't go if you don't have to. I know it's kind of like weird, but please take care of yourself. But especially during COVID time, since most people are kind of like locked down, and that this is all they know. This little box here where people are shopping, right? These are all the experiences. So then make sure that you offer a way for people to get in touch with you, a phone number, an email, some way. So invest in that. Another advice from Panos is to provide contactless payment and payment options, various payment options. So from many platforms and digital wallets like Apple Pay, Google Wallet, PayPal, etc. So there's no excuse. So people have this, like I have a PayPal account, right? So I have a PayPal account that I can use for subscriptions. It's linked to my bank account. And there are places that I go that I'm like, if they give me the choice of using my PayPal, I'll use my PayPal. It goes through not just the bank security system, but also the PayPal security system. So it's almost double. It's very seamless. I don't waste any more time, maybe a couple of seconds, but it's insignificant when I know that I'm getting the security, right, as a consumer. So offer contactless payment. Contactless payment is basically they go to your shop and they tap the device and the money basically is there. I actually just went last Saturday. Last Saturday was my son's birthday, and I took him out to eat with his wife and my grandkids. And we went to this restaurant, and it was really good, and we had a good experience. And I asked for the bill, and they gave me this little digital tablet that a lot of restaurants are using nowadays for you to look at your bill and order all of that business. And so they asked me, do you want to register, right, so that I can get the coupons and notices? And I'm like, yeah, because I like all that stuff. If I can save and if I can get free nachos on my next visit, you got my email. So I did that, and then it asked me if I wanted to connect with my payment. And I didn't think of it, like I just said yes, but I didn't think of the implication of this. And then it kind of scared me a little bit later, but I was like, oh, okay, it's safe. But I sort of said yes, proceeded, and then I couldn't see my bill. So I'm like scrolling through the little tablet, and I call the waiter, and I'm like, Jaime, you know, I have a question. Where's my bill? And he said, well, if it's not there, let me check. He went to the main portal, he checked, and he said the bill has been paid. And I said, well, who paid it? And he said, you did. I said, what? And what happened was when I clicked yes to the subscription and I clicked yes to link in my payment, basically I agreed that if I make a purchase on that store, it automatically comes out of my account that I have linked with Google. So I have a PayPal and Google Wallet there. And so at first I was kind of like, wait a minute, what if I wanted to pay cash? What if I wanted, to use another option? And that kind of bothered me. But then as I thought about it, I'm like, well, it is kind of like my fault. I should have said no and then had the option. I went through it too fast. But it is a good option, right? For me, it was just now I know that I can go there, and when they give me the bill, all I have to do is tap yes on the bill, and it's already connected to my account. So that's another way in which people can offer contactless payment. The other advice that Leonardo's gives, and I think I've said this before, is to double down on what works. See what works. What is it that is working for others? What is working for you, right? If it's working, then keep doing more of it, right? Do more, practice it more, do it differently, but do more of what works, as opposed to, staying the same way and not changing, or maybe changing too often, right? So test something. If it works, do it again. If it works, do more. Be creative. Do some variety. Change it a little bit, but do what works. That's really, really important. And I think this was the last. Let me see. Yep. This is the last of the slides, and I'm going to open it up for any questions, any comments. Hold on a second. Let me move this. Okay, my mouse is not working properly today. Okay. So it is open for anybody that wants to have a question or any comments. Whoa, no questions, no comment. Okay. So that's good. If you do have questions or comments later on, be sure to connect with us. Send us an email. Contact the center, EAP, Daphne or Claribel, and we'll be more than happy to connect with you. Joan, did you have a question?
No.
No.
I was just saying thank you for a wonderful online what to call it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Wonderful. I was with you from the beginning to now.
Oh, okay. Well,
great. I enjoyed everything. I learned a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, stay connected with us.
Yeah.
And
you know what you were saying, that you were going to send these slides to the PowerPoint to Daphne, but then you were supposed to be getting it connected to the classes that we're doing, but we never got it.
Oh, then I'll email, because she has all of them. I send all of them. In fact, this presentation I sent to Daphne on Monday, because I do the same presentation in Spanish. So I have to do it, translate it in Spanish and English. So she already has that. And I'll send Daphne an email. Hold on a second. Jay, are you still online from the EAP Center?
Yes,
I'm online.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you please send a reminder that Joan did not get the presentations?
Sure. Why not?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would prefer for her to send it all to the class we are in now, because it's going to be finishing on the 16th of December. Now we're going to be our last class. So Marco, Professor Marco.
Yeah. Well, I send it to them. So Jay is part of the EAC Center. Jay is gonna take. Do you have them, Jay?
No, I haven't. No,
Okay, I'm gonna send them to you. Do you have everybody here? Do you have their contact information? Jones, Faye, Carrie.
I don't have it. So just send me. Here is, I think we have a chat. If in the chat room, give me your email address. I will send it to you, to this guy.
Okay.
No, he's not talking to me. He's talking to you. Who has to send their email? Because all our emails were given before we started this class.
Okay. So you already have an email that you gave us, right? That's what you're saying?
I think I have the yes, because when we entered,
That's how you register,
when
right?
we sign up, we had to give our email.
Right. Okay. So Jay, do me a favor. I'll send you the presentations. I don't have access to any of that, so I'll send it to you, and you make sure that everybody gets it. Okay. I have all of the presentations. I send it, all four of them. So he can.
Once I receive the presentation, I will forward it to them.
Okay. Thank you. I'll do it like right now when I finish here. Okay.
So once I get the presentation, immediately I will forward it to them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for
No
bringing
problem.
to our attention, Joan and Faye. All right, everybody, listen, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a great holiday. Whatever it is that you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever it is, please celebrate with love, with care, hug people.
Consideration for others.
Yes. Just fill the world with
Do it safely
with kindness
and kindness and love.
and love. Yeah, that is the most powerful solution to problems, to sadness. Just be there for someone. If you see someone sad, hug them. Well, social distance, right? But
Yeah,
but if you can hug them, if you can let them know, especially during the holidays, I never thought about this before until a friend